Hi guys, this is Michael from the Board Games Chronicle. Welcome to another material about the Battle of Hoth, the newest Commands and Colors games from the Days of Wonder, which tells the story about the battle on the icy planet of Hoth between Imperial forces and the rebellion. Just a reminder, during this battle, probably Imperial forces had the biggest victory over rebellion in any battle from what we remember. And this game really nicely depicts this in 18 scenarios. We already created one material about Battle of Hoth. This was just an overview and presentation of the components. This will be the second material in which I would like to focus on explaining the rules of the game. That is why we have a scenario set up, so I can show and point to some of the important game mechanics. And once we do this material, the last one will be the actual play. So example of play, we'll take one of the scenarios, there's 18 of them, and we will go through it. I will not deny this game did a really good impression on me. This is, advertised as the very light Commands and Colors game, and this is being compared or there is an information is based on the Memoir 44, but I would say this base vanilla game, although to some extent simplified, is not simplistic. It has a lot of interesting, solutions about which we shall discuss today. This material will be divided in sections. There will be links below, down below the video, and you can jump between, those areas of information which are important for you, and those which you would like simply to see in more details. So, let's start. First and foremost, this is a Commands and Colors game. What does it mean? That means that we have, of course, dice, which will be used, and we have also the cards, which will be used. Although the name does not have it, so this is not a Commands and Colors Battle of Hoth, but simply Battle of Hoth, and there was no Commands and Colors memoir. This is exactly same base engine which was in also Commands Colors Ancients, Napoleonic, Samurai Battles, Tricorn, Medieval, you name it. We have cards, we have dice, we have sections, as you can see, 3 sections. We have a battle board divided by the hexes, which are used, here for the movement. Exactly, this is it. So the main concepts will be similar, using cards to activate units, moving them on the map, rolling die for the combat, and then drawing once again the card. Second thing, what is the goal of the game? And this is most important. In majority of scenarios, this is getting between 4 and 5 victory banners. Let me show you this. For example, scenario 3. You can see each side has 4 cards, but 5 victory banners. Sometimes you would have scenarios in which you need to evacuate somebody. For example, we have a scenario in which there is an immediate, possibility to gain victory if we evacuate this, officer. And usually it will be marked like this with a thunder. Oh, let me show it here. It's better visible. Yeah. So you can get 5 victory points or thunder. Main goal: get victory points. You are scoring victory points mainly by eliminating enemy units. By elimination of a unit, we mean eliminating all figures of a unit. Sometimes some of the units might be worth a bit more, like those huge, deadly AT&Ts. Sometimes you will get victory points for exiting the board, or maybe for retreating off the board from your side, depending on scenario. But it's all being calculated by medals, and the game asks you to put medals here. For example, if you eliminate unit, you put the last figure from the unit here, showing that 1 victory banner was lost. And I usually use, it's my habit from Commands and Colors, Ancients or Medieval, that I put victory banner on the map to see where the banner was scored and which parts of the map were of the biggest interest. So this is point 2, goal of the game. Now let's jump to the components, and we start with the board and with the terrain tiles. I explicitly choose that scenario, this is I believe scenario 15, with some tweaks which I did in order to show you a lot of terrain features. First thing, map. The map, as I told you, is pretty standard for the commands and colors. 3 sections: left, central, right, which will be also activated by the cards. This is a relatively small map for the commands and colors game. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, rows, and like 3, 4, 3, 10 columns. So this is relatively small, although thanks to the usage of the terrain, this is a pretty densely packed, game and pretty densely packed scenarios. The terrain tiles are two-sided, so depending on the scenario, you will be able to use appropriate set. There are like 6 types of the terrain. They are very nicely stipulated in the rulebook. So we have those hills here, which block line of sight, which reduce attack die, on which some of the units like AT&Ts cannot get on, and which are pretty good defensive points. We have seracs like here, so these are the ones, which are simply impassable terrain, which also blocks line of sight, so you cannot see from here to here, for example. You have big holes, in the ice, which are also impassable terrain, except for the flying units like snow speeders. They can go through this, and they do not block the line of sight because you can see over this hole from here to here. Then we have some more specific terrain. Here and here are rocks, rocky terrain. Rocky terrain has this feature that it of course blocks the line of sight because you cannot see between hexes, such hexes. Of course, if a unit is on this hex, you can see from here to here and vice versa. You only look at the interviewing, hexes. They also have this special feature that if you enter hex with the rocks, you cannot move further. It simply uses up all your movement. And if you enter the rocks, you don't have enough time to prepare the attack. So if you enter the rocks, you cannot attack further. However, they are pretty good because they can provide you with some of the defense. Against infantry, the infantry will be rolling against you 1 less die, but against the vehicles, it's -2. So really good to defend against vehicles. What else do we have? I told you this scenario has a lot of various terrains. Here we have trenches. Let me show it. There's a couple of graphics for trenches. Trenches give bonus only to the infantry. First of all, they do not block line of sight, which is obvious here because, sorry guys, this is deep hole in the ground. So between this and this hex, there is a line of sight, except of course the units, if they stand there, they will block line of sight. What kind of bonus do they give? This is the only terrain in this game which allows you to ignore 1 flag, so the trenches, and also it allows you to decrease the number of attack dice by 1, regardless whether it's infantry or whether it's vehicle. Pretty good, pretty useful for defense. We will have some additional terrain here. As you can see, we have a wreckage, of some ship, and wreckage also has some interesting features. First of all, if you enter this, you cannot move further. Simply uses up all of your movement. If you enter this, you cannot also attack because you are, entangled, trying to find the spot and so on. The defense is interesting. It again, for the defense, that when a unit stands on the, let's say, a wreckage hex, the vehicles, so for example those, will roll -2, and the infantry -1 die. So this is similar to what we saw. However, if you have vehicle inside of such wreckage or building, the vehicle also will have 2 dice less because simply they cannot maneuver in this. So those hexes like this gives protection from attacks, but also is detrimental if vehicle tries to attack from this. And I believe we tackled all of the types of the terrain. As you can see, building and wreckage has the same features. So the hills, the rocks, seracs, holes in the ice, and trenches. 6 of them. And they are pretty nicely also presented in the player aid, which is pretty cool. Okay, that's all for the board and terrain tiles. Let us move on. Now we shall talk about the units. You see there's a lot of units on the map, and one of the things why I was saying that this game is not simplistic commands and colors game, because you have asymmetrical forces. They are pretty nicely shown here, and I will start to explain them in a moment. First of all, let's talk about rebellion. Rebellion have their troops like, snow fighters, something like this. They are pretty nicely done. There is like 3 of them in the unit, and they will roll. If they move, they can move up to 2 hexes. If they move 1 hex, they will roll at the range of 1 3 dice, at the range of 2 die, at the range of 3 1 die. So if he stands here, he rolls 3 2 1. If he moves 2 hexes, he cannot fight, and this is very nicely shown on this player aid. By the way, I really like the player aid for the units. Oh, sorry, I just destroyed snow speeders. Player aids for the units are using, the graphical representation. I'm missing this a bit for the terrain, and this is pretty useful. Now, snow speeders. They, by the way, the infantry unit can be hit on the die by the symbol of the infantry or by the symbol of the blast. Now we have snow speeders. Snow speeders can move up to 3 hexes. So, for example, 1, 2, 3. Of course, 3 of them has to move, and they will roll adjacent 4 die, the biggest number in the game, at the range of 2 die. So usually when you move snow speeder, you want to get him into the close combat. Full stop. That's the way to play with a snow speeder. Then we have turrets. We have a turret here. Turrets can snow speeder. Let me move to snow speeder for a moment. Can be hit by the vehicle hit and the blast. Turrets can be hit only by the blast. They ignore retreat, but they also do not give the opponent the victory banner. They are simply just to wreck house among the enemies. They are pretty powerful but brittle. Why brittle? Because you have only 1 turret on the spot, so 1 hit will destroy it. The infantry has 3 infantry units, the snow speeders have 3, but the turret has only 1. It's pretty powerful for 3 to 1, so a range of 4, the largest range in the game. So for example, they can see up to here easily. But as I said, they are a bit brittle, and they cannot move, of course, because these are static turrets. Now let's move to the Empire. First of all, we have infantry, stormtroopers. I would not say beautiful, but very nicely done stormtroopers. And watch for this. There is many more stormtroopers than the rebellion forces. That is why each and every infantry of a stormtrooper of the Empire has 4 units, not 3, 4 units. And you can see this here. Yeah. Other statistics are similar. If they move 1, they can attack. If they move 2, they cannot attack. So, for example, they have again at range of 1, 3 die, so melee combat. At the range of 2, 2 die. At the range of 3, 1 die. The only difference with rebellion forces is that they have 4 figures, while rebellion forces have only 3 figures. Then they are being hit on the infantry and blast. Now, the biggest nightmare of the rebellion, the AT&Ts. AT&Ts are huge imperial walkers, very nicely represented here and very hard to hit. First of all, they have 1 figure, of course, and they can be hit by the vehicle hit or by the blast. However, that's not enough. Each vehicle hit or each blast has to be confirmed. So if you rolled 2 hits, you take 2 die and roll them, and only if a confirmation hit in the form of a blast is rolled, the AT&T will die. This is the similar mechanic to the Memoir 44, in which we had, tigers, also let's say one unit, 1 figure unit, and where even if you hit them, you need then to confirm in order to be able to destroy them. They ignore retreat, and they always roll 3 die at the range 1, 2, and 3. This is pretty powerful. Then we have the droids. I believe I have not set up the droids in my let's say example. So let's correct this and let me bring some droids. Let us assume that the droids are here and they are looking at the rebellion from this side. Droids, yes. They try to spot the enemy. They can be hit only on the blast. They don't give victory point. And they can move 1 or 2 at the range of 1. They have 2 die at the range of 2, 1. So this is not the best combat unit, but you can throw them at the rebellion forces as a cannon fodder, or they can be used as kind of a unit which blocks line of sight of a powerful unit. So infantry, for example, can move on. So this will be for Voss. So as you can see already in the first game in the series, you have asymmetry here, but that's not all. We have also some special markers which might make some of those units special, and I would like to tell you about this now. There are special forces of several types. First of all, we have commandos. Commandos have those red symbols, and they have, I would say, characteristics of the warriors from Command Scholars Ancient, or the units with the leader from other Command Scholars games. Simply, in this game, when you attack and kill somebody or he retreats, you cannot enter the hex. But they can enter the hex and battle once again. So they have momentum advance and bonus close combat, if you remember it from the other Commands and Colors games. Yep. What else? Elite forces. Elite forces has those blue markers here. Yeah, for example. And those forces, unlike regular infantry, can move 2 hexes and can attack still. Normally the infantry after move over 1 hex cannot attack, but they can. Let me just put down the sun a bit. It's beautiful, but it's not the best for the recording. So the elite units can move to and attack, and the elite snow speeders, if you would have such, they would have 4 figures. This is also similar to what we had in Memoir 44. Tanks, elite tanks had 4 units. Elite infantry can move to hexes and battle. So this will be this commando, elite infantry, elite snow speeder. We have also the troops which can, check on other units who are approaching. I don't have a good English word for this at this moment in time. Sorry, completely blind about it. But what they can do is, if they are on the hill, and for example, those guys are on the hill and see enemy units, though all your units which will be attacking these enemy units will have +1 die. So, example, if we would be here, reconnaissance units, that's the best name for them. We see those guys here. Because we see them, those guys who can fire at the range of 3 will not roll 1 die, but will roll 2 die. So they allow, they are like, support units. They allow other units to hit harder at the enemy. And we have one more unit. This is called EWAP. It's simply machine gun. Machine gun, if set up like here, after you roll for the attack, you can reroll whatever number of dice you want. If you move, for example, if we move here, we need to take the MG with us. So at this moment in time, this unit in such situation rolls as a normal infantry. But even during the next order, we order them and don't move them, they will set it up and again can fire with this special ability of, rerolling a number of die. So that will be all for the units. As you can see, pretty wide variety in the basic game already between both sides, and then also the special forces. I can tell you, the base game of Star Wars is really, really great beginning. I really like it. Okay, last but not least, cards, die, and player aids. So those things with which we will be playing the game. We have several types of cards. First of all, we have command cards, as in every Commands and Colors game. There is 16 of them for the Rebellion and 16 of them for the Empire. They are not the same, they are asymmetric, and they are something you are get used to in the Commands Colors games. Like order all on the left, or order 1 in the center, draw 2 cards, choose 1. Attack with vehicles, attack with infantry, attack with 3 different units, so on, so forth. Pretty typical Commands Colors games. The Empire has slightly different cards, but still similar, like Recon 1, you can move 2 units, they can move 2 additional hexes, but cannot attack. Recon right, all on the left, all on the right. For example, you can move 1 unit 1 hex further and they attack with 1 additional die. So, or move 3 different units. Or you can attack with all infantry in 1 section. So this is 16. When I was starting to play, I was thinking, okay, 16 cards, not too many. The decks are pretty, big in the other Commands and Colors games. However, it's completely enough and completely, okay. What I really like that we have 2 different decks by which we have another type of asymmetry. This is really, really cool. So we have command cards. Something completely new. We have leader cards. Leader cards, we have 3 leaders per side. For example, Rebellion has Han Solo, 3 cards, Leia, 3 cards, and Luke Skywalker, 3 cards. So before a battle, you can decide, I would like to fight this battle with that leader or that leader. So you add those 3 cards to your 16, and by which you are enhancing your decks with some very powerful skills. On the Empire side, you would have Firmus Piet, 3 cards. You will have Darth Vader, of course, and you will have Maximilian Vers. So 3 of those leaders. It's really spice up the game, especially if you agree with your opponent. You choose 1 leader, I choose 1 leader. I don't tell you, you don't tell me. And only during the game, when you play the card, you will see which type of a leader your opponent took. That could be really interesting. In the campaign game, the campaign tells you when to use which of the leaders. That's not all. We have third type of cards, and these are, I would call them tactics cards. These cards do not count against your hand limit, and they are to enhance your actions. Yeah, so there are like 5 of them, mainly used in the campaign, but I do not mind using them also during the regular, scenarios. Very, very nice. So 3 types of cards. Again, if somebody will tell me that this is a simplistic version of commands and colors, I would not agree under any circumstances. This is simple, but not simplistic. What else do we have? We have, of course, the die, a 6-sided die. You have 2 infantries on the die, 1 retreat, 1 blast, 1 vehicle hit, and 1 cancel hit. Which means that you have 50% of targeting the infantry. So one pro tip, strategy tip. If you want to go for AT&T, but you have equally vulnerable, infantry, I would go for infantry. It's much more, sure to get them destroyed than to hit the AT&T. Okay, so that will be everything for cards, dice. We have also play rates. I was showing them to you. I wish they would also be in the, let's say, graphical format, and I think the fans will do, and we'll get them soon on the board game geek. Okay, let's talk a bit about the sequence of play. Each scenario will tell you which side is starting. For example, in scenario 17, which I based my setup on, you have information that the rebellion is the first. So what they will do, they will choose one of their cards which they have on the hand. They will have the number of cards they will have will equal to what scenario says. So in this case, 5 cards. They will take 5 cards, and they will decide to move 1 unit. For example, they will play this recon. They put it as an active card. They will move one of the units, or they don't have to move. For example, they would like to fly with those snow speeders here. They will do all the moves before moving to the next phase of the game. So you order for all the units, then you move all the units, then he will conduct the attack. In this case, it will be 4 die, just a reminder, adjacent 4 die, and will apply the hits. In this case, 2 infantry units will be killed. There is no battle back. This is a simplification, so there is no battle back. And then they will draw a card. This will go to the discard pile, and we have 3 cards. We need to draw 1 more and finish the turn. We should have 5 cards. Yeah, we had 4, so we should have 5 cards. But we need to draw the card at the end of the turn. So once again, we play the card, activate units, move units, fight with units, and draw the card. This is the sequence of play, basic, just like in every other game. And we move, of course, taking into account the limitations which, for example, the terrain gives us. So if we are standing here, and we have, of course, 2 movement points, and we enter this wreckage, we cannot move further. So this is a limitation. If you are standing here with AT&T, we cannot move here because there's another unit here. We cannot move here because it's forbidden for AT&Ts. We cannot move here because it's forbidden for all the units. So we can only move here with AT&T if they stand here. Now, when we attack, we of course need to take into account the line of sight. For example, if AT&T stands here, they do not see this unit. But for example, if he stands here, they will see this unit. No, because there is also this let's say hill. When we have line of sight, for example, in this case, the AT&T sees all those 4 units, we still need to take into account the limitations of the attack die because of the terrain. Normally AT&T rolls 3 die, but against the wreckage, -2, only 1 die. Against the trench, -1, but they can ignore the retreat. Against the hill, -1, and against this trench also -1. So this is important to note. And I just want you to remember about this special rule on the wreckage or building. If we have the vehicle on the wreckage on building, they will roll 2 die less. So if they stand here and they want to attack the trench, first of all, they will roll not 3 die, but 1, because they are standing on the wreckage, and they will also lose this die because the trench gives 1 of the support, so it will be 0. So don't get into the wreckage or the building with the vehicles because it limits them a lot. These are good spots for the infantry to hide and defend, because in this case he should roll 3, but due to the wreckage he rolls only 1. So this is a very good spot for the infantry to hide. So yeah, this is the sequence of play. This is movement and attack. How does it work? I believe the best way to present it on the large scale will be playing one of the scenarios, which we shall do in the third material for the Battle of Hoth. Now, last but not least, some additions. We have couple of types of victory banners. For example, we have temporary banners. This is usually a situation in which if you enter the hex, for example, let's assume they were destroyed and the infantry entered here, they are here. If we enter the hex, we have 2 victory points. But if we are killed, they might be lost. The scenario can say that then either the rebellion has those 2, or maybe simply Empire loses it. Simply, temporary victory banner is under your control if your units are with it. Simple like this. The permanent victory banner, which you will gain, is then if you have, such a situation that it says, okay, guys, you can get the permanent victory banner if you destroy this turret and get there. So if we get there, we simply will take it here and we'll get a victory banner. And even if we are killed here or pushed or forced to retreat, we still will retain it. So victory banners, there could be in 2 types. Of course, if you destroy the unit, you have permanent victory banner. But the victory banners connected with the terrain can be temporary and can be permanent. From the additional things about this game, you can play with 3 or 4 players. There are rules for this. They say that you can do it only in the epic version, but we managed to play even the standard, games in the team play, and we even managed to play the campaign in the teams. Yeah, it's possible. I believe it just needs a bit of creative thinking. When you play a team, for example, let's look at our scenario of 17. You look at the number of cards, 5, you divide by 2, round up. So each team player will have 3 cards. You need to decide who is the first player in each team, and you go first player team A, first player team B, second player team A, second player team B, and they can show the cards to each other, but the cards can be played only from the hand of a player whose turn it is. So this is pretty cool. And as I told you, there's an epic version. And now when I looked at the archives on the Days of Wonder, map site, there's already many more epic scenarios. One colleague is creating epic version of all 17 scenarios. I believe this is really cool to be able to play basic scenarios also in that way. Okay, that will be all as far as the rules explanation is concerned. We talked about what does it mean that this is Command Colors game, what are the victory conditions, what are components, units, cards, sequence of play, how to move, attack, about additions. I hope that this gives you a good glimpse into this game. However, I probably think that the practical experience will be even more valuable for you guys. So yes, in the third material, we'll jump to the playing of one of the scenarios solo, using one of the methods which we know from the previous Commands and Colors games. That's all for today. Thank you very much for being with me. If you liked this video, do not hesitate, give thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content like this, kindly please subscribe. That's all for today from the Battle of Hoth, Star Wars, and I hope to come with some very interesting scenarios soon in my next material. Thank you so much, and bye.